Hi, I am Kedger on Two Wheels, and today we are at Linaway to test drive the new 2019 Honda CB500X. So 500X, Honda has redesigned this bike to be more off-roady. A more clear difference between this and the F, where previously the only differences between the three CBs were slightly different seating positions and the fairings and very little else. In this case though, it's a major difference. First things first, front wheel is now a 19-inch rim and the rear one is 17-inch rim, 110 at the front, 160 at the rear. So the front wheel is kind of roady, the rear wheel is still roady. The wheel is not spoked, so they're still trying to do that in between. Regular suspension, your normal parallel two-cylinder engine with the 48 horsepower, which is the maximum for the Class A2 license, and the rest of the bike is much as it was before. Suspension, I think, was upgraded. The front is still like all the others, full LED indicators, LED indicators at the rear, LED taillights. We have a new exhaust with this dual look, very reminiscent of the Africa Twin, and that is for sound only. It's going to do very little for the engine. This is to give it a bit more pizzazz on the sounds, and the rest of the bike, the styling is still very much like the old one, but there's little details which make it slightly nicer. It looks a lot like a very small cross-tourer, a cross-tourer that's been on a diet. Let's see how she rides. So a slightly different test track with slightly worse pavement, but also long turns, so I can feel the bike. And I can tell you right off the bat, after one turn, you can feel these are off-road tires. You have that falling over feel from the off-road tires. You have just to get used to that. It's normal for off-road tires. Let's try overtake this guy here. Okay, very cool. Other than that, it works fine. The engine's a bit vibey and noisy. I like the volume, but you do feel vibration through the handlebar and through your feet, just exactly as the previous one. Exactly the same thing. And it is fast. It's an A2 class bike and it feels plenty fast. The fact that you're sitting up straight helps with the acceleration sensation. Even though this windscreen blocks most of the wind, if not all, so you only really hear wind on your helmet, not on your body. You can't feel it, so that takes a bit out of the acceleration feeling, but it does protect you. Cornering wise, it actually works and gives me a good feel, but it does feel long-legged. It does have that I'm a tall bike feel. And I can tell you the center of gravity seems to be relatively low because it is a bit sluggish moving from left to right like this. It's not very... It is flickable because it is a light bike, it's under 200 kilograms, but it takes its time. It's not a sport bike and it's not meant to be a sport bike, so on that it's perfectly business as usual. It corners well, however, these lean angles start making you feel a bit But if you don't overdo it, considering that this is for a newbie, this is the newbie class, if you don't overdo it, it's fine. Only when you get to the more extremes, then you start feeling a bit, maybe not, because it's a long travel suspension, or at least it feels like it. But this is a tiny feel at the edge. You might not actually get to feel it at all. Let's try a long winded right hand corner, which is this one. And this pavement, I know this pavement is poor, and on the other hand I can really feel the grip. It's really easy. There's some bikes where you just corner and you feel like you have infinite grip, and I know you don't, because I know this pavement is bad. But on this one I can feel that there's little grip, which is very nice. And while it has mismatched wheels, meaning 19 at the front, 17 at the rear, with semi-off-road tires, it is quite stable at any speed. Higher speed, lower speed, it works fine. So far it is a very nice middle ground between road and off-road. Thing is, we're just missing the off-road part now, ain't it? And that means exactly what you think it means. Hey, Fiat Punto, please turn left. A bit faster, man. Thank you. And oh yeah, Honda is not going to like it. I am so sorry, guys, but it just has to be done. Sorry for the visor open, so I can see the road better, because I have the dark visor on and there's not light enough for this. And we are up. Okay, I've done this with the Versys, and I have done this with my KTM RC125, actually a long time ago, when it wasn't even nearly as bad. But the RC is very low to the ground, so it's very easy to put your feet down. But this isn't really that hard of an off-road. I can't really do anything much more aggressive than this on off-road, on test ride machines, for obvious reasons. Okay, if this was a journalist bike from Honda Portugal, I could, but it's not. So very light, very easy. It does move around under me quite a lot, but the suspension copes with it easily. It feels very nice, and there's no rattles, there's no shakes. It just feels like a unit moving, which is exactly what you want. It's nice. Yeah, the suspension actually works much better than I was expecting. And the engine is popping behind me. The exhaust goes pop, pop, pop constantly. Cool. So it works here. It works very nice, very well actually. Works very nice, unlike Borat. So this is actually, so far so good. Although my hands are hurting because I think the riding position upright isn't that good. It needs a couple of risers. But then again, this is a semi bike. It's meant to be used on the road and be workable off-road, and so far it is usable on roads, and I think it's a bit higher than just workable off-road. But if you want some proper off-road, my first impression is you could use some bar risers, which is a bit odd because it already has some. The steering column is way down there, and then there's bar risers like this big already. So I'm not sure how you're going to put even higher than that. You just plunk it on and hope for the best, I guess. I don't know, I get that feeling because my hands are hurting, and they weren't hurting on the other off-road machines I tried that particular spot on. So that means I was gripping the handlebars harder, and now I just have to figure out why was I gripping the handlebars harder. Was I nervous? Comparing this with Kawasaki's proposal, the Versys, this feels a bit heavier, because it is. and I can't really compare much more because I haven't done enough. So let's do a bit more. I hope the Honda dealership that lent me this bike is not actually watching this. I really do, because if they are watching this, they're not gonna be happy. Sorry guys, but your customers will do this, okay? And this, I'm fine with this, and they should be too, because I brought my Yamaha Tracer to this road, and I did it with the Tracer. So if I can do it with the Tracer, this has to do it easily, so it should be okay. Okay, now that I'm concentrating or focusing on the riding position, my arms, with my legs completely stretched, my arms are completely stretched, but that's not how you should ride. You should ride with your legs slightly bent, and then my arms are just slightly bent, and I am bent forward a little bit. It needs a little bit of bar riser, especially if you're a taller guy. Again, it's trying to get that mix between road and off-road, and this is a mix between the road and off-road. If you want to do long off-roads, you'll need bar risers. If you just want to do something like this, the occasional let's see where this road goes, this is fine. Let's see if I can break traction on these tires. They do look like off-road tires. I did not see the brand yet. Yep, it does. Although this little twin does not have enough torque down low, neither does the Versys. It's a road engine, not an off-road engine. So see, it takes a while to break traction. Either that or first gear, but in first gear it'll just be too jerky. Another issue is that when you're standing up, you can't see the dash because there's a little plaque in front of it. Okay, this has to be done in a go, like this. Okay, good thing the suspension is adjustable because it does feel a bit stiff now. Yeah, it is a bit stiff for off-road, as it is now. They likely tuned it for road on the dealership, which is smart. Okay, but it's no huge deal. It is a bit stiffer than it should be, but it's fine. So far, so good. The bike is moving a lot under me. I feel it sliding all over the place. So these are not quite off-road tires. These are like 50/50s. But I am more comfortable on this one than I am on my Tracer. Well, duh, obviously. All the feeling I'm getting is that this is indeed a 50/50 bike. It's meant to do both. And this is quite an achievement. A bike that can actually do both is an achievement. Even if it's not perfect for either, it's not an easy thing to do. And stick some, whoa. Oh yeah, it does slide a bit everywhere. The front washed out, but it just grabbed back on and just stayed on. So that was nice. And it was not scary at all because it's light enough that it just gives me great. I don't know how to explain this because I can feel everything on this bike. Maybe the other ones, including my Tracer, was sliding as much as this one. I just didn't feel it because I can feel everything on this one. It gives great feedback. That's why I can tell you, I can feel it. Every little single sideways slide on top of this fine sand, I can feel it. And I don't really, I can correct it, so I can just let it re-grab the pavement, the ground. It's great. Let's sit back down. My right hand is beginning to kill me. Whoa, there you go. Oh, big rut. This way. And now. This costs 6,580 euros, I think, or something like that. And you will be obviously wondering about the versus this. This feels bigger, heavier, more. It's a bit more expensive, but it does feel like it gives you more for the money. However, with that more also comes a bit more weight. So the Versus here was a bit more relaxed, but this one does give me some better feel. And I think I'm doing this faster than I was with the Versus, to be honest, which can explain why I feel the bike sliding around a bit more. Also explains why my hands hurt, because I'm going faster, so I'm grabbing more tightly to the handlebars. Ouch. Oh yeah. So it is an off-road machine too. Will it work off-road? Yes. Will it work perfectly off-road? In my hands, no. In more experienced hands, I guess so. And it's easy to maneuver too, because it's very light and very thin. Feels thin, feels light. It does feel a bit taller, which is why I'm not as comfortable on this one. I am 1.74 meters tall, and by stopping here on a relatively flat pavement, both feet only tippy toes, which is a bit, well, but if I put only one foot, easy to flat foot just one side. That was unexpected. I was expecting this to be a lot worse. So let's try the test track on the roads. We've seen off-road, we've seen a little bit of on-road, let's see the little bit of the rest of the on-roads. And coming back down, I've taken a look at the tires. They are Dunlop Trail Max Mixed Tour, so that's why it was less grippy. They feel like off-road tires when you lean them over. It is a mix of the large front wheel and the long-legged suspension and these tires, but they're actually 50-50 tires. Stick some better ones on this and that sliding around feel on the dirt is gone. I am 100% sure of it. The feel of this suspension going as a unit over bumps is great, and I really, this is what this bike is doing to me. I want it to go that way, and that's, why not? Why the hell not? It can do it. I'll tell you why the hell not, because it's not mine and I have to go and deliver it. That roads too. I don't care about these bends on this flat black thing. I want to go that way. I really do. This does... but I can't risk it. It'll be just too expensive if I fall over. I could do that road back again. I could do this backwards. It would be a good challenge. And no, I can't do it. It's too risky. Don't do it. Don't. Hey, hey, listen to me. Don't. Fuck. Mr. Brain is yelling, but Mr. Body is not caring. Ah, good lord. Okay, let's go then. Which way was it? I think it was this way. This is not a good idea, stupid body. Brain told you not to go. Okay, fine. Let's see how this goes. I don't remember this. Yep, it was not this way. Okay, fine. See, you lost, stupid. So this comes straight back in here on sand, and there's no one coming. Okay. There you go, I win. Yeah, why not? I'd be a lot more comfortable if it was my bike with crash bars and other stuff. Since it isn't, I'm not. And I didn't really do the rest of the test track. Damn it! Hey! Yeah, that was not the point. I got distracted. Okay. So here you go. Here is what this bike is. A true adventure bike. A true 500cc for Class A2 adventure bike. It will do both fine. And then you can specialize it on one or the other. I'm not sure if there are road tires for 19-inch rims. 19-inch 110 width rims. If there are, you'll have a fine road bike if you just want that. Or you can stick on some more radical tires and you'll get some better performance off-road. I'm not sure if the rear wheel, which is I think it's a 160, not a 150. Not sure, it was on screen. Will fit a bigger or a better off-road tire, but you can then customize it the way you... If you don't like this 50-50 and you want more of one, you can change it. It just works fine on both. So yeah, the new 2019 Honda CB500X. It is finally something different from the other two. And finally Honda also has something for the light off-roading, light adventuring, instead of only having the big guns. All now it needs is a middleweight adventure bike, because it's got the big one, the Africa Twin, it's got the light one, which is now this one. Now it only needs something in between. That's it. Cage her out. Okay, so let's try it out on a proper off-road track. Feels so much thinner. Does not have the finesse or the absolute damping craziness that is the Africa Twin. Whoa, it's a lot lighter, a lot more nervous. But these are the first impressions. Let's do this again. It also feels a lot easier because it's a lot lighter. Easier in the matter that there's not much mass going around. Because I've just done this with an Africa Twin. Oh, that was nice. So I can compare them, which is not really fair. Let's make 2 laps and then 2 more for the Portuguese channel and call it today. Okay, this is a really big bump. Ouch. It works, but it's not fantastic. Well, at least not comparing with the Africa Twin with its proper suspension, but climbing up and down, fine. And again, the riding position could use some risers, but they're not 100% needed. Could also use a button to turn off ABS. But that's a usual fault with these mixed bikes. Okay, now let's see in Portuguese. Let's do that bump again. Ouch.